And then I am going to go ahead and share my screen here, okay? So for those of you guys who are not in Lean on Laurel and you do want my personal help, just know I have a special right now though for those people who are in the Blitz. If you just go apply at adswithlaurel.com and put Blitz in the referral box, I'm going to give you an exclusive offer. Because one of the things that we're actually going to be doing in the Lean on Laurel program over the next couple of months, and I know a lot of people who are in Lean on Laurel are super excited about this, is I am literally reshooting the entire discovery call accelerator with the funnels, with the emails, like everything from super beginner all the way to super advanced. And that's one of the things that I do probably once every 2 years. The last time I did a discovery call accelerator deep dive with Lean on Laurel was about 2 years ago. And so it was time for me to update the program. And so one of the benefits that my students have is they get to be in the room while I'm reshooting the entire course. And so they can ask questions, they can get help. And so we're going to be doing that in September, October, and November. So by going into the new year, everyone is going to have everything that they need in order to execute it from the super beginner level to the super advanced scalable method, which we're actually going to talk about probably on day 3 on what this actually looks like, the bigger picture. But if you go to adswithlaurel.com and put Blitz in the referral box, I will hit you up and we can chat about getting you into Lean on Laurel and having me personally actually help you not only write all of these ads, help you have messenger conversations. Like just for instance, this morning, I had a student who was like, help with this messenger conversation. And line by line, I was literally feeding her everything to say to the customer that she was actually talking to. And we were able to pull that person right onto a booked call. So those are the benefits. Lean on Laurel is not more content. It's about executing the content that you guys already have available within the $7 program. It's more curated. So anyway, we are going to start to rock and roll. The first thing that we are going to talk about today is how I met my wife and why it applies to this strategy. Okay. So for those of you guys who don't know, I am married to a wonderful woman named Christina, whom I met 8 years ago today. And so I'm super excited. It's our 8-year date anniversary, I guess you could say. But why does that pertain to what we're actually going to talk about today? Well, for those of you guys who are familiar with Tinder, you basically swipe through people's profiles, right? And sorry, blondes, but I typically go for brunettes. And as you can see right here, my wife is clearly blonde. Okay. And so as I was swiping through Tinder, I saw a headline. And that headline said, I like pizza, puppies, and beer. Okay. Now, why was that headline so freaking important, right? If she would not have called out those specific characteristics, what would I have done? I literally would have swiped right past the love of my freaking life based upon just characteristics, right? And so anytime that you are writing a single piece of content, I want you to think about that story. Am I calling out my ideal client or am I staying broad? Right? Because think about this. If inside Christina's Tinder profile, if she would have just wrote, I love animals, I love going out, I love bar hopping, and if she would have stayed broad, right? It wouldn't have gotten my attention. But if you guys know I love pizza, right? If you guys follow me on Twitter, it's literally Laurel Eats Pizza is my Twitter handle. So I love pizza. Pizza is like one of my favorite foods. The fact that she literally called out, and for those of you guys who don't know, I am a dog mom. I love my dogs almost more than I love my wife, but I love my wife more than anything. And so she had like the most perfect headline that grabbed my attention. I love all the hearts that are going on right now. So thank you guys very much. But that's the importance of like actually knowing who your ideal client is, right? A lot of you guys are trying to broaden up the space because you're like, well, I need more volume. You want to find that fine line between volume and being too targeted. Okay. And so we're going to talk a lot about this today. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. I had to dig deep to find that. I had to go back to 2016 to find that one. Okay. So who is this for? Some of you guys are actually on this list. I'm just going to go for. So who is this for, right? This is for people like Scott. Scott is actually one of my favorite success stories. Scott came to me a couple of years ago. His son and his son's wife had just had a brand new baby. And Scott was working for someone else, but Scott had an expertise. He actually worked for Seth Godin, one of, the best in our industry, right? And so Scott had a lot of expertise, but he wanted to start his own thing because his son and his son's wife were looking for a babysitter for their newborn. And Scott and his wife were like, wow, how ideal would it be if we could babysit our grandson and spend most of the time with, our brand new grandson and actually do that. And so that's how Scott came to me. He didn't really have an offer put together, but he had an expertise. And so we worked on it, and we got Scott down to spending about $500 a month, and he makes about $11,000 in his business. And Scott is one of my favorite success stories because he's happy with where he is. There's not a lot of people, everyone's like, well, I want to scale to 20, 30, 40, right? A lot of people who are actually in this room right now are probably a lot like Scott. You don't want to scale your business to a cajillion dollars. I'm one of those people, right? My wife and I run the entire thing with our best friend, Suzanne. Some of you guys have probably talked to Suzanne. Suzanne's our best friend. She was our best friend before we started the business. And it's just kind of like a best friend kind of thing, right? We don't have employees technically. And that's the way that we like to run our business. And so it's not just about scale. At the end of the day, what I hope to achieve with not only these blitzes and the $7 program, it's about helping you guys achieve what you actually want. And I think that there's a lot of internet marketers who push you to want more when really more isn't always better. It's about living the life that you actually want, right? People like Olga. So Olga is brand new to my Lean on Laurel program. I just did an interview. By the way, all of these people, you will be able to find their stories on YouTube. I interview a lot of my clients as case studies. And so this is not just me making stories up through thin air. But Olga is going to be the newest success story. Hers is going to go up in the success, the winner's circle, probably on Wednesday. So Olga is a boudoir photographer. So if you're thinking, oh, well, this only works for the online coaching space, Olga is actually a boudoir photographer. And she actually implemented the Discovery Call Accelerator portion, and she executed it inside the $7 program, by the way. She started before coming into Lean on Laurel. But within her first week of joining Lean on Laurel, because she had done the work in the $7 program, she was able to go from working a $20 an hour job to making $20,000 in 8 weeks of executing what I'm going to show you guys over the next 3 days. And guess what? She did it with less than $800 in ad spend. So imagine. So if you think that this is just for all of these people who are spending a ton of money, or if you think that this is just for the online marketing space, it's not. Let me tell you about Devin. Devin joined Lean on Laurel. We literally got up a couple of the ads that I'm going to show you guys over the next 3 days. And Tina can confirm this. I know Tina and Dan were on this call. We were on a coaching call, and he's like, man, my team just booked a call for $10. And then literally 5 minutes later, he's like, so my team went up and dialed that person, and they sold him a $5,000 package. All within what we're going to, so literally $5,000 with $10 in ad spend. Okay. The context, remember how I told you guys, context matters, right? A lot of you guys got excited. Ooh, $10 call and made $5,000. Devin is spending $6,000, 6 figures a month on Facebook ads. So he was running a VSL funnel, and we were able to leverage a lot of the audience that he had already built. Okay. So different sides of the spectrum, right? People who are starting from the very beginning to people who are spending a lot of money. Tanya is another one of my clients whom we did a webinar funnel for. and her webinar just stopped working. And then I decided to implement what, again, I'm going to show you guys today. We're covered over 200 triage calls with a $6 in ad spend. Did you guys hear that? 200 triage calls, $6 in ad spend. I'm going to show you exactly what we did. And then people like Victor, you guys have seen Victor hanging out in the $7 program. He gives lots and lots of value. I showed this strategy to Victor. Victor now runs a highly successful agency that literally executes this strategy for clients. And so whether you are a solopreneur like Scott and Olga, who are just like, you know what? I just want to make decent money. I want to be profitable. Or if you're like Tanya, Victor, Devin, who want to scale 6 and 7 figures, the strategy's for you. It doesn't matter, right? And so it doesn't matter. A lot of people are like, oh, this is for only a certain type of person. It's not, okay? Okay, let's talk about why most people fail at this strategy, okay? Why most people fail at this strategy. We might have like a little triggering conversation right now because I'm going to say something that is going to go beyond what people tell you guys, okay? But most people fail at this strategy because they think that they are just above it. I don't want to talk to people. My time is too valuable to talk to people, right? They think that only high ticket should sell via the phone, okay? Well, I will say this. The reason that my $7 program has been so successful is because I still make it a point to talk to my ideal clients daily. I still have messenger conversations. I am not above talking to my audience. As a matter of fact, I am pretty much obsessed with you guys, right? Like, you can still message me and I will be on the other end of that messenger. Why? Because I want to know the things that matter to you guys. The market changes, and we're going to talk a little bit about that here in a little bit, but strategies have changed. Tactics have changed. You guys have changed, right? And we can't just expect everything to stay the same. And the only way that we could actually fix things is by getting on the phone and literally asking not only our best customers questions, but also people who did not buy, or maybe people who bought and they canceled. It is super important that we know all of these things. Why is it important that we know all of these things? Well, we circle back to the thing that I told you guys a while ago. Think about the story of how I met my wife, right? If we don't know who our perfect person is, we need to figure that out, and we need to figure it out fast. Just on Thursday, I spoke for free at a local Chamber of Commerce event in Biloxi, Mississippi. I still do the little things that, so many people think that they're just too above doing that. Why did I speak at that event? Because I like talking to local businesses. Like, what are their issues, right? What problems, right? You're going to hear me say that a lot. What problems do they need help solving? And we're going to dig into that, because I know, based off of, by the way, talking to you guys, I know that that's one of the biggest problems that are in the room right now, is a lot of you guys don't know the problem that you actually solve for your audience. You're like, well, I help so-and-so do this, but you can't explain the problem that you solved. And that in itself is a huge problem. Yep. Just as Josh said, 100%. People don't think of offer 2, 3, 4, 5 to their audience. Absolutely. So that's why most people fail, is they want to shortcut everything. They don't want to talk to their audience. They see these ads that say, you can literally have a business. You don't have to talk to people. All you have to do is XYZ, right? Well, yes, that sounds easier, but you don't know the context of what any of that ad is saying, right? You don't know the context. Like, building these businesses, it's hard, but no one wants to market that, right? Because then no one will buy. Yep. So, what has changed this year? Ooh, a lot. Market sophistication. That has changed drastically, right? A lot of people are selling you guys strategies that worked 4, 5, 6 years ago. But the market has changed dramatically. People know what a webinar is. People know all of these tactics especially when you're trying to sell someone over the phone, right? People are so sophisticated to online marketing now. It is super hard in order to get people to believe anything, right? Like I sell a $7 ads program and people automatically say that's a scam, right? Because they've been burned by so many people who've offered that. And so as we're going into what we're going to talk about today, you have to keep in mind that market sophistication has gotten really, really sophisticated. Like people need to know exactly what it is that you're going to offer, right? It's no longer curiosity. People are not buying curiosity anymore because too many people have gotten burned. And so we have to be more transparent now than we have ever been. And that's what we're going to work on over the next couple of days is being super transparent, being super clear. Okay. Another thing is you guys have probably noticed that a lot of big people who used to run webinar and VSL funnels are now promoting something that, a short funnel. No funnel at all. Even the guys who've been known for funnels are switching to the short funnel. Now, Barbara just asked a really great question. Are you saying that marketing webinars don't work anymore? That is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is they don't work the same way. And I'm going to show you guys the numbers that will prove why a strategy like this is actually super important that you execute, especially if, you're a super beginner. Here's something that I really want you guys to take away. And this is why my ecosystem, in my opinion, I think this is the best ad strategy out there. It's been the same strategy that I've been teaching for over 6 years, and I've been using it myself. This is something that has not changed. Interactive marketing. People want to talk to the person that's offering the offer. We have to be in touch with our audience now more than ever. They want to see the person behind the business page. And so as we go into 2025, I believe, this is my macro belief, and this is why I'm building my entire ecosystem around this. This is why I have not built a funnel. Like, have you guys noticed Laurel does not have a funnel in a sense that most marketing gurus have? Like, I've never taken anyone through a funnel. You guys have bought something from a sales page, but that's not a funnel. Right? I still don't have this long drawn out, like funnel when someone buys something and there's all these upsells and all of that stuff. I just have, I sell I sell two things, right? I sell the $7 program and I sell Lean on Laurel. Those are my two offers back to back, other than this Blitz, right? So I think interactive marketing is going to be the thing. And this is why even now this discovery call accelerator strategy, I believe is going to be highly successful for so many people in the room right now. And I don't think you guys know how successful it's going to be until you actually execute it. So let's get to the nitty gritty, and then we're going to get to the really, 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 really good stuff. Okay. This strategy will not work if you present yourself poorly online. I'll give you guys a quick example. I had a Lean on Laurel student, not going to say his name. I don't want to embarrass him because he might be on this call. I had a Lean on Laurel student. And as you guys know, or for those of you guys who don't know, I forget there might be some newbies here on this call. I always say 90 days to data, right? We want to put out enough volume of content in order to know exactly what type of content works and what type of content does not work. Okay. And so I had a student who is in the fitness space, and he submitted his ecosystem audit for me. And I was taking a look at all of the videos, and he was shooting his videos exactly how I am shooting this Zoom call right now. What is wrong with that? Keep in mind, he is a fitness coach, and he's shooting videos behind a desk. He was not presenting himself in a situation to where his ideal clients would see him. Yeah, David says lacks credibility. Why is a fitness guy sitting at a desk and not in a gym with his clients? Right? We have to stop and ask ourselves, like, are we showing up in a way that our ideal clients expect us to online? Right? Are we dressed the way that our ideal clients would expect us to be online? Right? If we are putting ourselves and we're targeting a super highly sophisticated, highly rich audience, and we're showing up in t-shirt and sweats online, like, Are we gonna resonate with our ideal clients? I think that we spend so much time focusing on who our ideal clients are, right? We focus so much on here's who I want to work with, who I don't want to work with. I think if we did the opposite of that, like who do our ideal clients want to work with? Are we presenting ourselves online as that person that our ideal clients are looking for? Right. And I don't think a lot of people actually think about stuff like that. Like, are we presenting ourselves online in a way that our ideal clients would want? The strategy will not work if you start and stop constantly. By the way, this is the one of the most heartbreaking things I always hear, because this is, in my opinion, this is the only way that you lose money with advertising, is by starting and stopping, because you lose all kinds of data if you go without advertising for a certain period of time. I don't know how many times people have come to me and they're running webinar funnels, or they're running ads in general, and they've spent upwards of 6 figures in ad spend and they haven't touched anything in 2 years. I'm like, ugh, we can't do anything with the data that you paid for, hundreds of thousands of dollars that you've paid for, and we can't do nothing with it. Breaks my freaking heart. I always ask this question every time that I do a training. If you would have just kept that first ad on that you first launched years ago, you would be in a much better position right now than you are. That's just the truth, right? I'm not the best ads person in the world. I am not the best ads person I might be the best ads person in Gaydon, Louisiana with 1,200 people. I would say this. I am probably the best ads person in my hometown, but I'm probably not the best ads person in the parish or county that I live in. But why do people look at me as one of the best? It's because I just stayed in front of you guys the longest. So many people stop and start ads. And honestly, the longer that we keep our ads running, the better that they actually optimize. That's why the 7-day flywheel exists, because if you don't give Facebook enough time, they're not going to be able to optimize your ads in order to find the right people. Like if you launch a video ad, and if you understand how that video ad is optimized, it's based on through plays, meaning the people who watch 15 seconds or more. If Facebook doesn't have enough people watching 15 seconds or more, it can't optimize that ad. So that's why only launching ads for a day or two doesn't work. It can't optimize. Like, how many of you guys have ever launched an ad and within the first couple of days, you're looking at the people who are engaging with that ad, and then you have this like this self-doubt that like, oh my God, I'm targeting the right people. None of these people look like my ideal clients. Well, that's because Facebook is still optimizing that ad. But yet so many of you guys are turning things off way too soon. And so that's why the 7-day flywheel exists. Okay. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what that is, you're going to get to it in the program. But that's the reason why I built it on a 7-day versus, 1,000 impressions, like a lot of people suggest. The strategy won't work if you can't actually help people. Okay. I'm just being honest. If you don't really have any expertise or anything, I can't teach you expertise. That's just something that you have to have. And it won't work if you can't answer the question, what problem do you solve? One of the main things that I ask students when they first come into my Lean on Laurel program is, what problem do you solve? And people's first reaction to that is, I help so-and-so. And I don't even let them finish answering that question. I was like, because if you answer the question, what problem do you solve? And you answer the question with, I help so-and-so, you're already answering it incorrectly, because the problem that you solve is about your ideal clients and not about what you do. A lot of people get that mixed up, right? And this is not me poo-pooing the value proposition. I think value propositions are super important, but I think a lot of business coaches out there are doing so many of you guys a disservice by not teaching you guys the other side of the value proposition, which is, what problem do you actually solve? And the answer within that question right there is the secret sauce to making this entire strategy work the fastest. Because if you can answer that question the fastest, and I'm gonna show you guys an easier way to actually find the answer to this, utilizing the value proposition. And I've never taught that before, so it could go wonky, it could go great, I don't know, but I always spend so much time improving the way that I teach stuff based upon your feedback, right? this entire training is coming full circle. I know how to do this training today for you guys because I've talked to you guys. And that is the importance of this strategy right here, is being able to have conversations with your clients. Okay. So I made this little note for myself so that I can actually know what to do next, right? So we're gonna go a little bit principle based right now, because I want you guys to get a true feeling for what this strategy is and how it actually works. Because if you don't understand that moving piece, you're just gonna do things just because, oh, Laurel says to do this, and then you're not gonna understand when it doesn't work, why it doesn't work. Okay. So let's actually talk about traditional funnels. Okay. But the first thing that I want to explain, let me get something nice. I'm going to get white so that it shows up real good on here. Okay. So a lot of people don't really understand how online marketing works and how to choose the appropriate strategy for your budget. Okay, so I'm going to show you why the Discovery Call Accelerator strategy is perfect for beginners, especially if you have a very low budget. Okay. I'm going to draw a little triangle. I'm going to first explain this from a fitness point of view. Okay. If you are someone who is struggling to lose weight, okay, what is the bare minimum that you have to do in order to see results? And coaches tell us this all the time, right? Abs are made in the kitchen, right? So the bare minimum of what you got to do is you have to fix your diet, right? You have to fix your diet. I'm just checking the chat, making sure. Yep, calorie deficient. You are going to get the maximum return right here, right? You're going to lose the most weight whenever you're going to fix your diet. Then as we go up, you can add in exercise, right? Then you can add in certain tools like diet pills and such, right? But you're always going to get the highest return right here. As you go up, you're going to start to see diminishing returns. Does everyone understand that concept? Like, your minimum effective dose to lose weight is right here, diet. Like, if you just fix that, right? That's like why a lot of fitness programs are like, you can lose X amount of weight without going to the gym. It's because 80% of the battle is your diet, right? Yes, exactly. Gio just says, biggest bang for your buck is the diet part. Abso-freaking-lutely. Okay. So if you were someone who didn't have a lot of time, my mentor uses this term a lot. The minimum effective dose is just diet. You're going to get to your goal if you just do this. So if you don't have a lot of time, you don't have to spend time doing anything else. Okay. Now let's look at this from a marketing your business standpoint. Okay. We draw this once again. Okay. If you need the most volume of conversations in order to validate an offer, right? If you have to validate an offer, not an order, if you have to validate an offer, what should you be doing? You need the highest volume, right? So you need a high volume of conversations. How do you think you can get the highest volume of conversations? Well, a simple $5 ad that goes to Messenger, right? You can literally get a ton of conversations by just doing this. Okay. Now, if you do this over a certain period of time, what are you going to get tired of? Whew. I'm having a lot of messenger conversations, right? Like in my program, I always recommend that people have 100 a week. And by the way, I still do this. I have 100 messenger conversations a week. I probably have a little bit more than that. But if I'm having 100 messenger conversations a week, what do you think I'm going to find out? What do you think I'm going to find out? I'm going to find out pain points, and I'm probably going to be able to formulate an offer, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add friction, right? Because I'm having a ton of messenger conversations. I want to slow the volume down just a little bit. So now, instead of having a messenger conversation and having right up access to me, I'm going to write a power offer and I'm going to take it to an application. How does this cause friction? Well, now they can no longer just instantly message me. They have to wait in line on my calendar. We're adding the least amount of friction, but we're still keeping the right amount of volume. Right? Everyone with me so far? This right here makes up the discovery call accelerator strategy. We're going for high volume of messenger conversations and a nice volume of applications to get people over the phone. If we keep going up and we're having too many phone conversations with people who are unqualified, then and only then, and I'm talking like 5 to 10 calls a day, then and only then, how are we going to add a little bit of friction? Well, then there's where our VSL lands. And then when we have a high volume of people coming in through a VSL funnel, wouldn't it be nice to liquidate our ad spend? And that's where our slow comes in. But a lot of people are teaching to start here, but check this out. Okay. Check this out. If I have a VSL funnel, we'll just do a VSL funnel, right? A VSL is a video sales letter that you make people opt into to watch. Some of you guys have heard this before. And so hold back on your answer to this, Tina. I'm looking at you. How many clicks to a landing page do you think it takes for one person to see your offer at the end of a VSL or webinar funnel? Rita, you were at my event. You cheated. It takes 250 clicks because here's why, right? Let's say you're paying $2 to $3. We'll say $2, right? And we send 1,000 people here. You just spent $2,000 to send people to a landing page, right? Only 20% of those people are going to opt in. So now out of the 1,000 people that you've paid Facebook for, you're down to 200. Okay. And if industry standard, only 40% of those 200 people are going to hit play. I'm not saying watch the webinar. I'm saying hit play. Now we're down to 80 people hitting play. Only 10% of those people are going to finish it. So you are left with 8 people finishing that webinar and seeing your offer. You just paid $2,000 to get 8 people to see your offer. So Babe just asked a question. We're not getting any messengers or conversations, so should we still be on this call? 100 freaking percent. That is the whole point of this call, is to get you guys going. Everyone should, if you're not getting messenger conversations, you're going to find out why over the next 3 days. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Yep. So does everyone understand why the numbers just aren't in our favor when it comes to these VSL funnels? Now, Stacy asked a really great question. What about a slow funnel? The numbers are even worse for that, right? Because people aren't even opting in for a free thing. You got to make them pay for something, right? I'll actually, like, if we do a slow funnel, right? What is the thing that we need in order to sell this offer on the back end? Volume, right? Here's why most people run out of money before they make money with a slow funnel. Okay. So let's say you have a $27 offer. Okay. If you have a $27 offer, you could probably expect to pay $60 to $70 to acquire one customer. Now, keep in mind, this is in the very beginning. Can we get cheaper? Optimized? Yes, absolutely. We can easily get this to break even, but here's where most people run out of money. If you're paying $60 to $70, do you think you're going to get the volume that you need of buyers to get enough people to this offer so that they can convert? If you're paying 60 to 70 just to get 10 people to buy, you're almost at $1,000 to get 10 people to buy. You're nowhere near break even. But you also don't have enough data to be able to troubleshoot this. And so that's why most people run out of money before they're able to actually validate an offer at the end, right? If we go back here, the discovery call accelerator strategy ensures that 100% of your audience sees your offer. That is why the strategy that we're going to talk about today is super, super important. So what does this strategy actually look like? Okay. So the discovery call accelerator is made up of two totally different types of offers. Okay. The first offer is going to be a value bomb offer. And I'll explain the difference between that and a value bomb is what we call in the industry an indirect offer. The reason that it's an indirect offer is because we're not directly asking people to buy from us. We're using a bait type of thing in order to get people to raise their hands so that we can have a sales conversation. So that's why they call it an indirect offer. Now, what makes this different than a lead magnet? It's actually not that different from a lead magnet. The only reason I call it a value bomb is because a lot of times when people think lead magnet, they think of tons of value, lots of things for people to do, and it's usually gated behind some type of landing page. These value bombs are going to actually solve micro problems that are going to get us a conversation with our ideal clients, and we're not gating them. We're going to just give it to them in Messenger, but we're going to shelf what I'm talking about there for right now. All you need to know is that what we're going to do is we're going to run a $5 ad to this value bomb. People are going to comment, or if you prefer sending them straight to Messenger, you can do that. There's two different ways to actually execute this. I prefer the comments. From the comments, we're going to take them to a Messenger conversation where we're either going to sell them or get them onto a call. So that is fast funnel number one. Okay. I call it a fast funnel because it works super fast. The second type of offer that we're going to write, and don't worry, we're going to work on all of these together over the next couple of days. We're going to do the foundations of writing these today. So what we're going to do is we're going to send a $10 a day ad to an offer that is a direct offer to work with us. I like to use Joel Irway's Power Offer Framework. Lindsay just asked, is it Lindsay? Yeah, Lindsay just asked a great question. Is there a price point for a value bomb offer? So value bombs are free. But just so you guys know, there's no minimum of what you can sell via a value bomb conversation. I sell people into my $7 program using value bombs all the time. It's actually a great way to actually get into conversations with your people. If I can get someone in a messenger conversation, they're buying at least my $7 offer. At least. But the strategy works two ways, right? So we're going to send a value bomb using a $5 ad, and we're going to get people to hand raise for the value bomb to have a conversation. And then we're going to use conversion ads to send a direct offer into people to have a sales conversation with us. Now, if we go back to this, what do you think is going to be the cheapest and which ones do you think is going to be the more expensive? The one at the bottom is going to be cheapest, right? Because again, we're getting diminishing returns. A lot of my students inside my Lean on Laurel program, they don't go beyond phase 2. So if you're inside my $7 program or Lean on Laurel, the bottom one is phase 1, sans the power content. And then the second one, what the power offer is in phase 2. Don't worry, we're going to talk about all the different types of ads. Right now, I need you guys to understand that we're going to be doing 2 different types of ads. Okay? We're going to do an ad that I call the conversion multiplier. That promotes the value bomb, and that's what we're going to be running $5 ads to. And then we're going to run ads straight to an offer. Okay? You guys are getting way ahead in the questions. Just be patient. You guys are actually missing a lot of great points because your brain is trying to answer a question that's not ready to be answered yet. Open loops are okay. Okay. So today we're going to do some work. Okay. Today we're going to do some work. I'm going to make sure in my notes that I did not miss anything important. Okay. Where's my shared screen? Okie dokie. So today, okay. Now, if you're familiar with Joel Irway and his power offer, this is not going to be anything new. But for those of you guys who are new, that's okay. Okay. Here's an exercise that we're going to do that's going to allow you to figure out what problems do you solve. Okay. Now, again, I'm connecting 2 of my exercises, and I think this is going to help. I just walked one of my students in Lean on Laurel through this last week, and I was like, ooh, I should teach it this way during the workshop. Okay. So the first thing we have to identify is, what does our client journey look like? Right? From start to finish. If you do not know this, you need to do this. Right? So in order for me to create wins for my clients, the first thing that I need to show them how to do is create invisible leads, right? We do this through power content. No matter which of my programs you're in, you should know what power content is. It builds an audience of invisible leads that are one day going to be ready to buy. That's goal number 1. Goal number 2 is you guys need to start to have messenger conversations, right? Goal number 3, offer validation. Goal 4, retargeting. And goal 5, automation and scale. Do you guys notice my ecosystem? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 1 has a little bit of retargeting, but the ultimate retargeting is in phase 3. So you guys see how that works, right? So you have to know, what does your client journey look like? Okay. Then what you need to do I'm going to push that down so you guys aren't looking at that yet. So if we look at goal number 1, building invisible leads, the mechanism that I help people do that is video ads, which you guys know is power content. In order for me to help my clients execute a good power content video that is going to do the job, what are all of the steps that I need to take my clients through in order to do that? Well, the first step is I need to help them write a headline that's going to grab their ideal audience's attention and polarize the rest. The first step in creating really great power content, right? The next step is writing a promise of value. Why should people watch? Step 3, a humble brag. Who are you and why can you help? And then creating a value bomb CTA that's going to increase engagement and create conversation. So you guys, do you guys see how I broke down? So inside my $7 program or Lean on Laurel, if you're in phase 1, there's a video that shows you how to do this, right? But here's the thing, and this is where I need you guys to pay super close attention. If this is the training to help you guys do this, don't you think these are the trainings that solve the problems that your ideal clients are having? So now you can go under each of these and say, ooh, what problems are my clients having with each of these? This is where your power content and your value bombs are going to lie. Okay. I'll go through a second one. If we go through the steps of goal number 3, validating an offer, what is the mechanism that I'm using to do that? It's a 1 to 2 sentence offer that Joel Irway coined the power offer. What are the steps in helping my clients validate an offer? Well, the first step is writing a power offer. So what problem does that solve? They don't have a clear way to talk about their offer, right? That's what the power offer solves, right? That's the problem. So if we go backwards, right? If I teach people how to close 2 to 3 calls, what is a problem that we have to solve in order to do that? They're not booking any calls, right? So we could actually work our way the other way and create these problems, right? So if they're not getting enough booked calls, well, we show them a $5 ad to get booked calls, right? So now by identifying all of the steps that we have to take people through in order to get them to where they want to be, it now reveals all of the problems if we work our way backwards. Okay, good. You guys are having light bulb moments. I love that. That's what I was hoping. Now, as you guys saw, right? If we go to this invisible leads, right? I'll use this as an example. Y'all ready for another light bulb moment? I'm going to connect all of this together and then we're going to workshop a little bit. Your goal is where your power offers are. Your steps are where your value bomb and your power content lies. Right? So let's take goal number 1. Here are the different pieces of power content, right? And notice the hooks are almost there. The headline that grabs your ideal audience's attention and polarizes the rest. And then we can create a value bomb to accelerate this result, right? Writing a promise of value. Why should people watch this? Power content to do it, and some kind of shortcut like an AI GPT or a template, right? how to write the perfect value bomb, power content. So check this out. Now, if these are where my power content and my value bombs lie, we use these exact same steps to write a power offer for this. So if I wanted to write a power offer promoting my power content strategy for coaches who are struggling to get the right type of content in front of high ticket buyers, if over the next 24 hours, I helped you launch 3 targeted video ads that on average gets 2 to 3 leads commenting about talking to you about your offer that only delivers your ideal clients into your messenger, would you take me up on that offer? So what does this tell us about this? Yes, you guys have 5 power offers for 5 different avatars. A lot of you guys think you only had one, right? Then once you break each of those power offers into the 3 scripts that I'm going to teach you guys over the next 2 days, now you don't have 5 power offers, you have 15 to test. So by the end of this blitz, I told you guys you're gonna have 5. We're gonna launch in 5 ads. I mean, you can, but you're gonna leave this training with way more than 5 ads ready to test. Awesome. So what I'm going to do right now is my favorite part of this entire thing. I'm going to allow you guys to unmute and we are going to workshop and ask questions. And I know someone said they're scared to ask the question. Don't be scared to ask the question. I'll give you a straight up answer, but I don't bite, I promise. I'm seeing so many of you guys just had an aha moment. Was it worth the money to be here just to see me do that? Yeah. But see, it all comes back to I would not have known to show you guys that if I wouldn't be talking to you guys in Messenger and knowing that that has been a huge problem for so many people. So yeah, so whoever wants to go first, just unmute yourself and just do this.
I'll go first.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, Andrew.
So I've been working with the conversion multipliers mainly. I'll just go straight to the point. So I think the struggle that I'm having is that I I will say I have a validated offer with my paid audience, and when I test like 2 steps or value bombs with my audience, I get traction. Whenever I try to bring that over to the paid advertising, I'm I'm hitting the metrics that like I can't remember, like above 40%, above 8%.
Mhm.
Like I'm hitting those metrics, but I'm not getting anybody commenting on the ads.
Yep.
And
I'm so
so
glad that
yeah,
I'm so glad that this was the first discussion that we're going to have because this makes a huge difference, right? He
yeah,
said something here that's super key. It works to his warm audience, but it does not work to cold. Welcome to paid ads, sir. And so I get this problem a lot, especially with people who've made 7 figures selling from the stage. I get this a lot with speakers. They will have sold like $10 million worth of product from the stage. And then when they go to cold traffic, it's freaking crickets because it is not the same. Because on the stage, you have borrowed authority. When you have a warm audience, you have a warm audience, right? And so we're going to talk about this on day 3, but this is why my ecosystem strategy is so important and building the invisible lead list is so important, is because you're going to start to see that the more authority that you have, the more social proof that you get on your cold ads from your warm audience, it is actually going to put you in a better position with cold traffic. How many of you guys bought because you saw the comments on my $7 ad? You were like, oh man, this girl's got like 3,000 people saying that her stuff works. I better buy, right? It's not that the ad made you buy. The social proof on the ad allowed you to buy because so many people trusted me. And so this is why these validation tests, and I'm going to show you guys how to actually do that. is so important, because before you build a funnel, wouldn't it suck to find out, Andrew, that you spent tens of thousands of dollars getting people into a VSL funnel and then your offer's not converting at the end and you have no idea what's not working? Whereas right
Absolutely.
now, oh, my offer's not working to cold traffic. I need to make some corrections. Because here's the thing. A lot of you guys bought this blitz without even knowing what it is. I know it. I know you guys. So many people buy my stuff. They're just like, oh, Laurel's selling this thing, I'm going to go buy it. A lot of you guys didn't even watch the video. I could tell by the questions I'm getting in the, like, that I get in my messenger. Like, I'm like, dude, the video literally said who this blitz was for. But that's just comes because they're like, if Laurel's doing it, it must be something important that I need to go to. And that's the power. Like, you guys right now on this blitz experienced this strategy in real time. And so, Andrew, don't give up. It's just warming. It's just you haven't had enough authority and social proof with cold traffic. The longer that you run this strategy, the faster that cold traffic's going to convert, if and only if you write the offer clear enough. Chances are your cold traffic doesn't understand what the offer is, or two, they don't trust you with that offer.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So Kim just asked a really great question. What about an audience that doesn't want to be visible for others? So don't comment. There's a lack of social proof. That's okay. You're going to be able to make up for it on the back end with more content pieces. Because here's the thing. How many of you guys see the same ad from the same person over and over again? I know there's a couple of people that I keep seeing their ads, and then I go to their business page and there's like zilch, just like crickets. There's no other pieces of content other than the one ad that they're running. And I'm like, oh, this person must be like not a scam artist, but this person clearly is, I don't trust them as an expert because they have no other content. So the more content that you're going to have, and again, we're going to talk about that on day 3, the more content that you have, the more traction you're actually going to be able to do. Because the first thing that people do when they see an ad is they go either check out your profile or they check out your business page or your YouTube channel. Especially, Mr. Bill made a great point, especially if you're B2B. Amanda and Emmanuel.
Hello.
Hi.
Who are madly in love.
Now we are. First of all, I was just like getting so much content in my mind. I just want to maybe run by a quick, I guess, hook and see what your thoughts are. If that's okay right now, or
yeah. So let's actually do it in a context that everyone can get value on the training. So what goal are you talking about? So let's break down what are the 3 to 5 goals that you provide for your clients?
so the 3 to 5 goals.
Yeah, like what we just talked about, like the 3 to 5 goals. And then let's break it down in the context so that everyone can see your thought process as to why you chose that hook.
Okay, so sorry, I'm just trying to
no, that's okay. That's okay.
Focused on this, and I was like, all right. So the goals are for my goals for the client, right?
Yeah. So
the goal here is to strike a conversation with them, put an ad with a conversion multiplier.
No. What's your goal? Like, what are you solving in their client journey? Right. The goals that we.
Oh, okay. So
because that's not what you do. You don't teach ads.
Oh yeah, no. So the problem I'm solving is the female financial advisors are constantly overthinking every decision, and that creates an incredible amount of self-doubt.
Okay. So what is the goal of your, so if we do this, right? Like if we go through the process,
yeah.
What does your client journey look like? What is the first goal that you help them achieve? What is the second goal that you help them achieve? You get what I'm saying? I just want to kind of in the context so that everyone can kind of see the process.
Mm-hmm. So the first goal I help them achieve is to get them to become aware and stop what they're doing and be like, okay, I am overthinking everything.
Okay. So what is the 5 ways that the 5 steps that you take them through in order to achieve that?
Sorry, say that again. I'm having troubles hearing.
Okay. What are the 5 steps? Remember, we just went through this exercise, right? Like you have a goal, right? Like I'm assuming what pillar is that in your program? Is it the first step, second step, third step, fourth step, fifth step?
Mm-hmm. So step 1 is that they realize they're overthinking And the step 2,
How do you
they,
do that? How do you do that though, right? So if we look at this stuff, right? I'm gonna so this is the work right here. What does
Mhm.
your client journey look like? Right?
Okay.
What are the 5, like in my program, right? If people come in, goal number 1 is set them up with an invisible list lead. 2 is getting the messenger conversations. Goal 3 is offer validation. Goal 4 is setting them up for retargeting. And then 5 is automation and scale, right? If we just focus on goal number 1 to get them the invisible leads, what are the 4 to 5 steps that I have to take them through in order to achieve this goal right here?
Okay. Understood. Okay, that I'll have to think about it, because I have it all in my head, but I don't want to say it in a way that, because the first thing they got to do is to calm them down, because they're extremely stressed. They got to start calming them down.
So step 1 is calming them down.
Yes.
Okay. So how are you solving that? How are you solving that problem?
So I solved that problem by offering a 8-minute guided meditation specifically targeted to reduce stress.
Perfect. So the homework today that everyone needs to do is I want you guys to break down what are your 3 to 5 goals. Maybe you might not have, 5. You might in your program you might only have 3 pillars. Usually there's like 3 to 5. And so today's homework, what we're going to be focused on, or what are the 3 to 5 goals, and then breaking each of those goals down into steps. That's the only thing that we need to do today. Tomorrow is where we're going to actually start focusing on the content pieces. But we can't focus on those content pieces, right? You see how hard it is for Emmanuel to actually tell me all of this. And Emmanuel, I'm not knocking you or anything. But you see how lack of clarity can really get you guys unless it's all right there in front of us, right? I know this stuff by heart. If you tell me what are your 3 pillars, I'm like, first thing we need to do is build an invisible list. The second thing I need to do is messenger. I know this because I do this content over and over again, but we need to whenever someone asks us, what does your program do? You see, you need to be able to say this with such confidence and ease that you're not tripping up over how you explain what you actually offer.
Gotcha. Thank you. I totally
Yes,
appreciate
you're very welcome. And if we need some work, let's work on it in Voxer today.
Yep.
Yep. And I'm so glad that it happened that way, honestly, because this is what happens a lot, right? Someone asks us at an event or someone asks us online, what do we do? How can we help? And when you have that hesitation, it's over. If you hesitate to tell people what you do and how you can help them, it's already over. So thank you. Yes. Thank you, Emmanuel, for being the guinea pig on that one. Miss Agel,
Hi.
what is up?
Nothing. Just working.
She's like nothing.
Well, this was great. I did kind of know what I was getting into when I bought this, but mostly I just trusted you, honestly. But okay, so this is great. My question that I was afraid to ask is in regards to the fact that my ideal target market has 2 paths in the toy industry. There's one path where they're trying to license their ideas, and there's the other path where they're trying to get them into retail stores. My program addresses both because people often bounce back and forth. So I always have this struggle of telling somebody I know you want to do this, but this is the program for you, and here's why, and blah, blah, blah.
So so if you think about it, right? At the end of the day, they both want to do the same thing. They both want to sell their stuff.
Yeah.
That's just the last pillar is selling your actual product. And here are the different ways that you can do that.
Yes. So, okay, but here's what I have built out, and tell me what you think. So I actually did goals 2A and 2B at one point, and I'll tell you why. So I have goal 1, refine their idea to match market needs. And the steps so far that I have are toy market research, identifying white space, reevaluating your idea. Then I have goal 2, goal 2A, create a production sample. This is for people that want to get into retail. They need a breadboard mock-up. They need a bill of materials. They have to find a factory, negotiate pricing, get their first sample, get their production sample. Then 2B is for people that want to license because they don't need a factory. So their steps are, their goal is working prototype. So they need to get a breadboard mock-up, find a freelancer, and then build that working prototype. Then it kind of comes back together where they're the same. Where goal 3, both of them are developing pitch materials. I haven't built up the steps yet for that. And then goal 4, I split it, but it doesn't have to be split. Is sell, like get it into stores or get it licensed. So what do you think?
No, I love that. Like you,
Okay.
like that's perfect. Like that's exact. But you see, guys, don't you feel like get a feel? She knows what she's doing, huh? Like she was literally just spitting out like the steps, and this is what we have to do. That's why this exercise is so perfect. Like honestly, like it took me a couple of years to like figure this thing out. But once I figured this map out right here, it was a game changer for me. Not only like talking about what I do online, but like speaking on stage and like just, you know, being a guest on people's podcasts. It just helped me get clear on what are the steps that you actually have to take. Because the way that you presented that, Ajel, like I was like, if I needed to do this, you're the person I'm going to.
Well, I wish I'd done that. I don't do this on my sales calls. I literally end up going to the program and kind of highlighting like every module, but it's so complicated and this is so much clearer. But then my question actually is like goal 4, when I get to goal 4 and it's like sell, I guess I'm like, does that need to be a 4A and 4B? Because for the inventors, like everybody's pitching, but some people are pitching for licensing and some people are pitching for retail stores. So does that have to be separated or is that the same?
I think it can be separated, but like, so I'm going to give you guys a little crystal ball into what we're going to be talking about either tomorrow or day 3, depending on how fast we get through stuff. Do you guys see like by Ajel giving that framework and that roadmap? How easy do you think if she's on a sales call and she's like,
oh
okay,
my God,
the first thing that you need to do is this. Here's the thing. If you go on YouTube, there are many videos that will literally show you how to do this. But here's why my clients work with me on this part because of XYZ. So you're giving them 2 options. You're always giving them a, here's the free way to solve this problem, or here's the accelerated way to solve this problem. And so this exercise right here has multiple uses because it not only helps you figure out your content, it actually helps you have the messenger conversations and the phone conversations.
Yeah. It's great. Thank you. Love it.
Yep. Kim.
Oh, I got so excited I couldn't find the mute button.
Kim, is this your first time?
Yes, it is, and thank you so much because I posted on one of the posts I think on Saturday and snuck in, so I really appreciate this.
Oh my God, there you go.
I was so excited. I didn't even look where my credit card was. I ran for the computer. So for me, I appreciate what you just shared as well, because I've been starting to use this a little bit more on my sales calls, but it's three main pillars, which is one is what I call strategic influence. That has to do with, okay, how do I speak up, take credit for my ideas? Because I work with women in senior leadership as a context there. But how do I take credit for my ideas without becoming bossy and assertive? Another step in that is how do I make sure that I'm networking strategically, not just for the fun of it or as a socialite, as I like to call it. Another big pillar for my is neuroconfidence. So that has things about how do I quickly regain confidence after a setback? How can I ensure that the stories that I'm telling myself are giving me confidence, but also projecting my confidence? And the third big pillar is what I call the leadership framework, which is about creating your own Power One blueprint, your own leadership compass, as well as having a feedback framework for yourself, but also towards your team.
Okay. So I think this little addition is going to help you, Kim, but I think it's going to help a lot of people who are also going through this exercise right now, because for each goal, right, or pillar, however you want to name them, right, we have to also be able to identify. So let's say goal number 1 for me is power content, right? That's number 1. How does my client know that they have had success with this? How do I identify success for my client? How do they know that they've accomplished goal number 1? right? Probably whenever they've gotten 3 to 5, messenger conversations from their power content, or they've added 500 invisible leads every single week. And so I think if that helps you guys, like, because that's going to help whenever you're polishing your offer, is with goal number 1, add that little addition. My clients know they have accomplished this when blank happens.
And can I refine that with the question of, because a lot of, yes, some of it's tangible what I do, like if they get offers for a new role or they get promoted, but there's also lots that are outcomes that are less tangible, or it's more mindset wise, or they're knowing that they're getting more questions or being more approached more. So that is still in the tangible aspect, but
everything is tangible. Like, I know, like, a lot of people say that they have an intangible. Everything is tangible, because at the end of the day, like, it's accomplishing something that they're measuring. Right?
okay.
So let's just break down. So what is goal number 1?
Well, number 1 is strategic influence.
What is that? But what is that goal? What does that mean? Like, and again, this all goes back to how clear are we to our clients?
Right. So what they want is increased recognition and ease in leading.
Okay. So increased recognition and ease. My clients know they are achieving this when blank happens.
Okay. So that could be my clients.
No, I'm asking you, what in order for your client to say, okay, I've checked this pillar 1 off, I've accomplished this. What have they accomplished to know that they're ready to go to pillar number 2?
So with that, they will be they're often getting emails from their CEOs, or they are getting positive recognition within the meetings from their peers, as well as other senior leaders.
Awesome. So what are all of the steps that have to happen in order for your client to achieve that?
First step is to understand to get clear on what are their achievements and what are their ideas. The second step is self-promotion, is promoting it and taking credit for that themselves. Another step is also networking, making sure that you're networking with individuals in the role that you want to move into, but also networking with people that are part of the invisible power grid in your organization.
Okay. So there's, what did you say, 3 steps? 3 or 4 steps?
I could probably break it down into more, but I'll just keep it there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now you've got 3 pieces of power content, right? So now what you're going to go and identify next is, okay, cool. Is there a resource that can accelerate this step being accomplished?
Okay. And because I'm always curious with this, how do you ensure that while you give them a mini win, that you don't necessarily give away the whole program in a sense through all the little pieces?
You ensure it because if you're just giving away a step, that's not the whole program.
Okay.
Right? That's why we break these down into micro steps.
Okay.
Because solving one micro step reveals the next problem.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Absolutely. Clara.
Hello.
Hey.
I wanted to just run through my first brush of like the goals, because I was having a hard time of like the beginning and the end.
Yep.
And my problem, if this is correct, I'm trying to solve is course creators who want to refilm a course they've already filmed and sold. They filmed it themselves, and they want to have higher production quality because they want to increase the price and they want to improve the students' learning experience.
So that's step 1.
I was trying to say the problem I was trying to solve. I was trying to start there.
Okay, so overall, so that's the overall situation. Okay, so what is the goal? What is the first goal?
So the first goal I had was identify course improvements. So because they've sold this already, taking the feedback from their students or what they've come up with themselves.
Okay, so the first thing is identifying the black holes of their course, however you want to say that, right? So what are the steps to being able to do that?
So for that, steps would be like looking at, student feedback. Hopefully they've been collecting it, or if they haven't, a way to ask for it.
Okay.
notes they've probably taken themselves after they taught it, because we all kind of look at our work and we're like, oh, I could have done that better this way. And I was probably also going to list like maybe 3 areas to start looking for. Like typically this is where gaps happen and here's where you can look. So those are my 3 steps for that.
Okay.
First.
And so if my client was going to identify I'm successful and ready to move to the next step, what would be the thing that would tell me that?
This was part of my question, like, if I had given them a checklist that say, hey, look, make sure you collect, I don't know, X amount of feedback responses.
So I know I'm successful at achieving goal number 1 when blank happens.
My first instinct was like, oh, I was thinking of satisfaction rating. Like, or like somehow making sure to poll your existing students and you've collected that feedback so you know what you want to improve when you redo this course.
Mm-hmm. Like goal is X amount of surveys from X amount of students.
Oh, that's the goal. That's not the step.
Well, it depends. That you tell me. I'm just like trying to get you to clearly identify, like, I know that I've accomplished this when blank happens.
So if I tell you, look for course improvements in these areas and make sure you collect X number from these students for each area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I need to be clear that I'm ready to move to the next step, right? Like you guys know that you're ready to move away from power content when someone be a rockstar student. You know that you're successful when
100 messenger conversations.
100 messenger conversations.
No, power content. That's messenger conversations. Power content.
Oh, it's
Your
like
KPIs.
25% watch through. Is that accurate?
Don't fail me, guys. What are we?
It's
What's
40% hook rate.
Nope. Nope. How do we know? How do we know our power content? Yes, Amanda and Emmanuel. Look at that, Emmanuel.
Oh, that one.
Like coming back consistent when you have 500 to 1,000 people on your invisible list every single week, right? That's what I tell you guys in the program. Is you know to leave your power content alone when you're getting 500 to 1,000 people. But you see how clearly I'm able to like be like how like this is how you measure this. And so for every single pillar or goal, I like goal because it's more empowering. Like this is goal number 1, goal number 2. We need to be able to identify for our clients, like they know they're successful when this happens so that it's tangible, right? Especially when we're talking about some things that aren't so tangible.
When I have my goal as identify course improvements, like when you were naming your goals, did mine sound too broad or?
So let me, I'll play devil's advocate. Do you think that that's actually a goal or do you think that that's a step in accomplishing a goal?
I thought it was a goal because
I think it's a step.
Because I thought it's like when you're trying to redo anything, the first is like you're kind of taking a step back and looking at.
So here's how you always want to quantify things. And I'm glad that we're having this discussion. So thank you, because I think this is helpful for so many people. We always want to be able to quantify and measure success, right? And so if your goal number 1 is to, it's either to improve their satisfaction rate by X%, or it could be, I need to get this amount of feedback in this amount of time. Like there just needs to be some kind of measurable to where they know without a doubt, okay, I have accomplished this and I'm ready to go to the next step.
If it sounded more like a goal, a step, is the broader goal sort of, would it be like reflection or not reflection?
So I'm gonna let you do this exercise in full, because I think a lot of you guys are going to solve your own issues by just doing the exercise itself, because it really helps you identify from start to finish what your roadmap actually looks like. And one of the things that I have found, and my Lean on Laurel students know this, because whenever some of my students get to a certain point, this is the exercise that I make them do. And they're able to actually fill in the blanks on what they've been missing in their in their entire explanation of what they do.
Okay.
Yep. Steven.
Hello. thanks for clarifying that about the goal. Because that, I think first time around, that was a mistake I made. I think of steps, implementation steps, as in a process step, and I had a hard time tying it to a problem. All my content is about implementation challenges rather than the problem they have actually having. So this is a light bulb moment. Every time I go around, learn something new. But I guess my question is, do we tie the bigger goal to each of these steps, or is that just something I keep in the back of my mind when I'm creating a power offer?
Yeah, so here's why I'm having you guys do it this way. So if I were to create a power offer, you could, and it would encompass this entire thing, right? So like overall, I teach this, and again, it could have different avatars too, right? But like my ultimate goal, like for my highest level of client, is to get people who are only getting 2 to 3 times their return on ad spend on a webinar funnel to get 30 to 40. This is still the framework that I use, whether I am targeting someone who's already running a direct response funnel or people who are just beginning. It's the same process, but the way that I would present the ultimate offer would be different. Does that make sense? It's the same steps, but if I'm writing a power offer overall, but here's the thing. This is why I'm teaching it a step below that, is because someone mentioned it a while ago, market sophistication. A lot of people have ran out of, I'm going to show you how to make $10,000 in the next 90 days. Like people have seen that offer. So now we have to get even clearer. Like this is how to get 10 sales in the next 7 days without doing, right? So now we have to go deeper and deeper. And so that's why I'm having you guys take one step down and writing your power offers based upon the bigger problems versus the situation, because the situation has played out and there's too many options for people solving bigger situations, right? Like if you're in the self-development space, there's Tony Robbins, there's all of these different people, right? So we have to go a little bit deeper into those bigger problems versus the situation.
Okay, so all right. So it's getting it's almost like a step down, much more specific.
Correct. Yeah. Because if people just want self-development, they're going to go to a Tony Robbins workshop, right? And so we have to like meet our clients, our ideal clients, like right where they are to know, ooh, Steven can actually give me hands-on help to solve this big problem. It's not just a pie in the sky kind of like, bigger, broader offer.
Got it.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrea.
Hey there. So I want to speak about my 5 goals. So the overall idea is to get 5 to 10 more clients through collaborations and advanced strategies. So the first goal would be to get clear about their client, who they are, and their goals and problems.
So I feel like that's a step.
Oh, okay.
Like what is the first goal in your entire process look like? Like, what is it? Like, what is the thing that they would pay you money for? I don't think that they would pay you to do that. Like, what is the result that they want? And what is that first milestone?
Okay, so the result would be to get a lead. I mean, like 5 leads, let's say.
Yes. So step 1, like if you can get these 5 leads, right? That's probably something that'll be like, okay, cool. So, and what are the 3 to 5 steps on getting those first leads?
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so and then let's say, okay, get 5 leads. Then would be from there, convert them to whatever, convert 50% to clients.
Yep.
And then from there, it would be, so the thing is about the collaborations. So would find collaboration partners. Or get let's say get on 5 podcasts. Okay.
Yeah. And so what I would tell you to do is figure out a way to quantify, right? So if I'm explaining, like if I'm on the sales call or if I'm on a video and I sit there and you're trying to figure out, let's just say you're trying to figure out if Lean on Laurel is for you, right? And I'm on a call and I'll be like, look, the very first thing that we're going to do within the first week is I want 500 invisible leads added to your list. Like already, like in the first 7 days, I want this, and I want at least 100 messenger conversations. Here are the steps that we're going to do in order to ensure that that happens. Right. But you see how like I'm being very clear and I'm being very quantitative. And so people are like, oh, wow, like she has some kind of framework that's going to actually help me do that. And so that's why I'm forcing you guys to go through this process so that when you're having those sales conversations, because I think a lot of you guys are just lack of clarity on like the roadmap to getting people from here to here.
Sense.
But like if we take Andrea, like if she's like, look, the first thing that we're going to do is what if I told you that within the first 48 hours of working, like we're going to accomplish by getting 5 leads. Now, I know that that doesn't sound like much, but because we've gotten these 5 leads in the second phase of the program, which happens in the next 14 days, we're going to be able to turn at least 20 of those leads, if you're getting 5 a week, into a client. Like would that be awesome if you could turn like within a month, like have your first client? You see how like I'm using the language that you're giving me in order to sell someone into your thing, and I don't even know that much about your thing, but already because you're so clear on the structure of it, I can sell your thing.
And you work for me.
Yeah.
Joking. I can't afford you. But yeah, that's really super clear. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. And so that's why I'm forcing you guys to be clear about it, because it just takes a little bit of practice. So what I'm going to do is, because we ran out of time today, is I don't want the workshopping to stop. And so the homework today, and here's the thing, the first 3 people that comment underneath the homework post, I will personally give you feedback over Loom. The first 3 people. Now, here's the thing. If it looks like that you were lazy in your answers and just want me to do the work, I will not give you feedback. And I can tell if someone has really put in effort and who has not. Deal? Like I show up if you show up. That's the deal. Don't, like if you go and put it right now, I know that like, you know, you probably didn't spend much time, but I can tell when people like just are relying on me to do the work versus them doing the work. So make sure that you put in a lot of thought. And so what we're going to do is that's going to be the homework for today. I'm going to, as soon as this call is done, I'm going to go and put a homework post inside. And like I said, the first 3 people that give me this exercise in a way that it looks like they've actually put in the work, I will personally send you either a thumbs up, like, wow, this is really great. If it needs some work, I'll shoot you a Loom video and post it in the comments. Yep. It's going to be inside the Facebook group. Yep. If you guys want to put it in a Google document, make sure that it is editable, and then I'll make notes on it too. Yep, the recording will be available for you guys as soon as I have it. Zoom sometimes gives it to us very fast, and sometimes Zoom takes all day, but you guys should have enough, you know, and I'll actually give you guys this worksheet right here. So that you guys can, if you guys need it for help. But yeah, like if you guys are interested, like I said, if you want my personal feedback and you want to hop into Lean on Laurel, let me know. Fill out adswithlaurel.com, fill out an application and say, and reference, because I have a referral box, just say Ads Blitz, and I will hook you up with something that I hook up people who are in the Ads Blitzes with. And so, yep. Thank you, Christina. See, lovely Christina. Yeah, and then we can jam over Voxer. I will get you in today. And then, like I said, you get access to the Discovery Call Accelerator in depth that we're going to be doing over the next couple of months too. But just let me know if you want in on that. If not, everyone follow the homework post. And like, what was the rule? Everyone give back, right? If you're asking for feedback, make sure that you go and give other people feedback, because we're going to harness the power of the group, because at the end of the day, it's not just my opinion that matters, right? Other people too. I'm not always right. Even though, you know, I might like being right all the time, I'm not always right all the time. So, but yeah, Lean on Laurel students have access to me on Voxer. Not everybody, just Lean on Laurel students, but you guys have access to me in the $7 group. And yeah, we'll send out the replay. Please, 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 all I ask is that you guys do the work, because what we're going to be doing, I don't want to slow down tomorrow to have to reteach anything. Like, come ready to work tomorrow, because we're going to be rocking and rolling tomorrow and the next day. And I want to make sure that everyone is prepared. Cool. Awesome. Love all of you guys. Let's get to work and let's rock and roll another round of the Blitz. And I'll see you guys in the Facebook group.